This is Face the Nation, broadcasting live from the CNN IBN headquarters in New Delhi with Sagarika Ghosh.
Hi there. We're focusing tonight on the death of two women. 23-year-old Gitika Sharma, who committed suicide on Sunday, naming Haryana politician Gopal Kanda in her suicide note. And the death of Anuradha Bali, alias Fiza, second and estranged wife of Haryana politician Chandar Mohan. Let's first get you updates on Gitika's suicide and Fiza's death, and then explore with our panelists whether politicians who wield enormous power are tempted to use that power to exploit women.
2 days after 23-year-old Gitika Sharma's suicide, the Gurgaon police are yet to question Haryana's former Deputy Home Minister Gopal Kanda in the case. Kanda is the chairman of MDLR Airlines, where Gitika used to work, and has been implicated in a suicide note. Gitika's family continues to allege he was harassing her. But the police is still hesitant.
मोबाइल फोन है, लैपटॉप है, बाकी हमारा पूछताछ में कितना लोगों से पूछताछ क्या है, उसी का लिंक वगैरह कैसा लिंक करना है क्या है, वो सब कुछ कर रहे हैं.
The Delhi police have summoned MDLR senior manager Aruna Chadda, who is also implicated. Kanda insists allegations against him are false.
जो उन्होंने ये काम किया, जो सुसाइड किया, इसके पीछे क्या राज है, कैसे किया, कैसे दो नोट 3-3 महीने पहले उसने सुसाइड के लिखे या लिखवाए गए, या क्या प्लानिंग है, ये मुझे इसके बारे में कुछ.
A 3-member team from the NCW has simultaneously begun a probe. They visited Gitika's home.
आज आधा बात हुई है हमारी, तो आधी बात कल होगी, and also we will be talking to others who are named in the case.
The police are still trying to verify as to when and how Kanda began harassing Gitika Sharma. And even as Gitika's family say that Kanda is entirely to blame, the police say they will wait for more evidence before making any arrests. With Manoj Arora in New Delhi, I'm Smriti Advani.
The suicide of Gitika Sharma. We are now learning that Gopal Kanda will be questioned by the police tomorrow. Let's now get you an update on the death of Anuradha Bali, alias Fiza Mohammed, the estranged second wife of former Haryana Deputy Chief Minister Chand Mohammed. The Punjab police has not confirmed the cause of her death 24 hours after her body was found in her Mohali residence. The initial post-mortem report says no external injury was found on the body. The police are yet to take anyone into custody for questioning. Fiza was a former Assistant Advocate General of Haryana. Her viscera samples have been sent for chemical examination. Two women, both dead, both associated with politicians. In this case, Haryana politicians. Are women in danger of being victimized in relationships with politicians? We're exploring that tonight. Joining us, Rohit Mahajan. He's Fiza's friend as well as a lawyer. We have Professor Renuka Dagar, social researcher at the IDC. Joining us from Chandigarh, Bharat Dabholkar, ad filmmaker, joining us. And Ranjana Kumari, director of the Center for Social Research. Rohit, मैं आपसे पहले जानना चाहूँगी, आप फिजा के फ्रेंड थे. जिस तरह से फिजा की बॉडी को पाई गई, वो अकेली थी, घर में और कोई नहीं था. 4 दिन के बाद एक अंकल आए उसके घर पर, जिसने बॉडी को डिस्कवर किया. क्या इससे जाहिर होता है कि फिजा बहुत अकेली थी, उसके साथ कोई नहीं था, वो एक प्रकार से अपनी तन्हाई में डूब रही थी? क्या ये सच है कि अंत में फिजा बहुत अकेली पड़ गई थी?
जी हाँ, ये एक तरह से लगभग सच है कि अंत में वो अकेलापन महसूस किया है उसने. ये बात कुछ फ्रेंड सर्कल में डिस्कस हुई है आज भी कि अंतिम दिनों में, ये कुछ दिनों में उसको लगा कि वो अकेली पड़ गई है।
पर रोहित, इतना निराश क्यों थी वो पढ़ी लिखी थी, वो लॉयर थी, क्या उसके पास कोई जॉब नहीं था, क्या कोई भविष्य नजर नहीं आ रहा था उसको?
देखिए, मैं उनको 17 साल से जानता हूँ, हमने इकट्ठे लॉ पास आउट किया है, और जिस तरह की उनकी पर्सनैलिटी थी, शी इज़ वेरी डेयरिंग, बहुत बहादुर लड़की थी, और उसकी एम्स और ऑब्जेक्ट्स बहुत हाई थे। वो चाहती थी कि कुछ बड़ा करना चाहती थी, कुछ बनना चाहती थी। अक्सर मुझसे कहा करती थी कि रोहित, पता नहीं मेरे हाथ से देश का कुछ बहुत बड़ा काम होना है, या मुझे कुछ ऐसा बनना है कि दुनिया मुझे याद करे कम से कम। तो उसके जो एम्स थे वो बहुत हाई थे, कुछ बनना चाहती थी, तो इसीलिए शायद वो इतनी मेरे साथ प्रैक्टिस शुरू की थी उसने। तो तुरंत वो सीढ़ियाँ चढ़ती गई, पहले असिस्टेंट डिस्ट्रिक्ट अटॉर्नी बनी, और उसके बाद पंजाब की असिस्टेंट एडवोकेट जनरल, और उसके बाद हरियाणा की असिस्टेंट एडवोकेट जनरल बनी वो। तो ये प्रकरण जो है बाद में चंद्रमोहन जी के साथ जुड़ा जाके अंत में।
तो फिर क्या कहीं से भी सहायता नहीं मिली उसको? क्या समाज और परिवार ने उसको ठुकरा दिया?
देखिए, ऐसा नहीं है कि समाज ने ठुकराया या किसी ने ठुकराया है, हालात ही ऐसे बनते चले गए जो उनकी नेचर में धीरे धीरे बदलाव आए। बदलाव ये ऐसे नहीं थे कि हम कहें कि वो बहुत एडामेंट थी या कोई एग्रेसिव थी, लेकिन उसमें शुरू से ही डोमिनेट करने की जो नेचर थी वो शुरू से हमने देखी है। हमारे फ्रेंड सर्कल में भी वो हमेशा डोमिनेट करती रही, और घर में भी हमेशा डोमिनेट करती थी। और शायद यही वजह है कि उसके जितने भी सर्कल में लोग थे, या तो वो उससे बहुत अच्छी तरह, जो समझ जाते थे वो उसके साथ जुड़ जाते थे, लेकिन जो नहीं समझ पाते थे वो जल्दी से उससे दूर भाग जाते थे।
Fiza was an ambitious woman. She wanted to go ahead in life, but after her relationship with Chandra Mohan, she fell upon very bad times and became depressed and terribly lonely. Let me come to you, Renuka Dagar. The common pattern between Fiza and Gitika Sharma, there aren't that many common patterns, but if we are going to find a common pattern, it is that these were single women. They got involved or associated with married politicians who wielded enormous power. In this situation, given the disparities in the family between the women and the politicians wielding this kind of enormous power and wealth, do these situations end up becoming exploitative of women?
Certainly they do. I think these kind of situations are a comment on that nature of politics which draws its power from from a trading culture. So whether you're trading in vote banks, caste politics, whether that's providing doles and freebies, and when this kind of trading ground comes on, where a female form becomes part of this trading ground, then the repercussions are quite ugly and deadly for the female gender, not just for the woman itself. Of course, there's a prior background, a larger context, because we do see that there's a premium attached to the female body as a resource. As you mentioned, that a lot of women now are moving out in public spaces. They are moving for education. They are employed. They have confidence. They have acquired capacities. They even have resources. But when the body becomes a matter, a resource to be exchanged, that's when when the trap springs up. Because on the one hand, you have an aspiration to acquire celebrity status through the body, the form of the body, and on the other hand, there are social norms that stigmatize such kind of a conduct. So when your perceived rights are not realized in reality, you're only left with two options: either to submit or you exit. So in these two cases, there has been an exit strategy through suicide that's been employed.
Those are great insights, actually. The use of the woman's body as a resource, and then when the successes don't come, then the only strategy is either exit or submit. Ranjana Kumari, let me put to you the point also that Renuka made about aspiration. Now, it is also the case that perhaps in both these women's cases, in Geetika and Fiza, that they were women of aspiration, that they were women of ambition. There was nothing possibly wrong with that. It's a completely natural urge. But given the fact that they are women of ambition, is it also a point that to rise in life, or sometimes you can get tempted by politicians who wield power, who wield influence, and they can hold out promises. You can then get tempted by those promises and then ultimately be terribly betrayed.
Well, Sagarika, let's look at it in the larger context. You know, what has been happening over the period in history and even today, same thing is repeatedly happening not only in India, globally. That is, power and money is always becomes a tool in the hands of patriarchy to exploit women and use their vulnerability.
But maybe the women also get tempted. But maybe the women also get tempted by that power and money and that celebrity.
Yes, Sagarika, let me just complete. There is nothing wrong in having aspirations. There is nothing wrong in dreaming. There is nothing wrong in trying to get to whatever status of celebrity or get to the power. Nothing wrong with that. Men also aspire, but they get it because they are not used, their vulnerability is not there, and they don't have to play by the rules of patriarchy. That is why you see, and also in India it happens much more. And not only these two women, if they had not committed suicide, they would have been killed. Who knows that both of them would have been killed if they were not submitting and committing suicide? Because we know earlier cases in UP, in UP and other places where these women were finally killed. And also, that famous journalist who was killed till date, the persons are at large. So two reasons. One, that if they are used by these politicians, and every politician has a backyard. Look at internationally, but what happens internationally is that they get punished socially, politically and legally. Whether it is Mr. Clinton or whether it was Mr. Khan or whether it was Mr. Berlusconi. I think in all these cases they had to stand the scrutiny of society, politics, media and everybody. In our country they can get away with it because that is why they are behaving the way they are behaving, and every politician by and large has a backyard where they have some kind of
That's a very important point.
System in which
that's a very good point, because I think that the men never suffer because of these liaisons. In fact, in our patriarchal feudal structure, they're probably hailed as mard hai or sher hai when they engage in these kind of relationships where the women suffer and get killed. Let me bring in Bharat Dabholkar. Bharat Dabholkar, why just blame the politicians? Isn't it the same story in Bollywood? Isn't it the same story in a number of other professions where powerful men use their power to exploit women, and women are, as Ranjana is saying, as Renuka is saying, they are aspirational, they are coming out. They will not now submit anymore to a situation, but perhaps women generations ago used to do. So there is that urge to exploit a woman who comes out into the public sphere and who wants to rise in life.
I think there are two things. One is, in Fiza's case, I don't know the details of Geetika's case, but in Fiza's case, I think it is a question of love gone wrong. I think that the man involved was a politician is incidental here. He could have been a Bollywood producer, director. He could have been a corporate.
No, but the question is, why would he not marry her? Why? But the question is, why would he not leave his wife and marry her?
He did marry her.
But why would he not make that a legitimate?
He did marry her.
Why would he not make that a legitimate marriage by not converting to Islam, but simply divorcing his first wife and marrying her? That would have been the honest thing to do.
Maybe his wife wasn't giving him a divorce. I don't know the details of why he didn't and why he had to convert to Islam. I'm not getting into that. I'm making one distinction here because I know millions of women who work very hard from morning to night. They look after their families, they work for measly sums of money and do not compromise on their morals. They are not looking for a shortcut. And there are millions of such women in India. I know a lot of young women who want to make a career in entertainment, but who will not compromise on their morals, and that's why they haven't made it. I think we have to make a distinction between exploitation of need, that a girl has a need of survival, and that is why she's giving in to somebody without whose help she will not be able to survive, and an exploitation which comes out of greed, that I want all the good things in life very fast. I think that distinction is very necessary. Is it exploitation? Because if it's exploitation of need, then a man is to be blamed, because he's taking advantage of a woman who's helpless, who's cornered. But if it's exploitation of greed, then it's a barter system. Then it is saying that I'll give you all the good things of life, I'll give you a Mercedes car, I'll give you a house, I'll give you the kinds of riches that you haven't seen, for which you trade in your body. I think that's a barter.
Okay, let me bring in Renuka in here. Let me bring in Renuka in here. This is not exploitation, this is barter. This is the body being used as a resource both ways.
Absolutely, that's the whole point. The moment you get the body as a point of exchange, there are going to be negative repercussions. And as the panelists have been talking, in a male-dominant society that's backed by political power and money power, the repercussions are going to be much more worse for the female. So whether it's a male or the female, anybody, if you make the ground of exchange the female body, not your capacity, not an idea, not a vision, and if you're doing this in the domain of that kind of politics, which is trading on this, then obviously because politics, we know, is a major stakeholder to provide citizens with dignity, to provide them rights. And if sections of this politics is going to put this kind of message across, then a counter message much stronger and louder from the rest of the political actors and the space needs to be put across that this is not acceptable, the same way as we are hearing noises and debate in regards to
this is not acceptable
activities in politics.
This kind of behavior is not acceptable. But Ranjana, as you were saying, the men repeatedly get away with it. The men do it repeatedly. They get away with it, and it's the women who die. It's the women who are being killed every time. In July 1995, Youth Congress leader Sushil Sharma killed his wife Naina Sahni, who he suspected was in an illicit relationship. Poet Madhumita was killed on the orders of wife of UP Minister Aman Mani Tripathi. Former BSP MLA Anand Sen Yadav was sentenced to life for the murder of Shashi Prasad, daughter of a BSP worker. RTI activist Shaila Masood's murder was allegedly part of a love triangle. Bhavari Devi, a nurse in a government hospital, was killed for allegedly blackmailing Rajasthan politicians. So it's the women who are dying. You know, never mind the barter and never mind the exploitation. It's the women who are dying. So ultimately power is being wielded by the men because they have the power to kill these women and still get away with it.
Absolutely, Sagarika. I think it's a sad statement on our perspective when we start saying and looking at women and start blaming them almost. I think one of the panelists' statement about, moralizing that, some women compromise, some women don't compromise, some women are very, they stand by their whatever morality that he is trying to propagate. I think what really actually happens is that, why it is, this is a question precisely as you said, why it is that so many women lost their life and why it is
that's
that
the point.
Don't men have ambitions?
Let me get Bharat to quickly respond to that.
Create lasers, don't they try? But what kind of it's almost like saying that why do you wear mini skirts? Why do you go in the night? Why do you do all this? And that is why all this happens to you.
Let me get Bharat to respond to that.
Relationship,
let me get Bharat to respond to that. Bharat, respond to that. That it's the women who are committing suicide. It's the women who are getting killed. So it's not really barter. This is not give and take. This is where the power equation is so unequal that the women are so helpless.
It is give and take. No, Sagarika. No, Sagarika, it is give and take gone wrong. It is still give and take, but it is give and take gone wrong. I am a very strong believer that all crimes against women must be punished very severely. I have always said a rapist should be castrated. I've gone to that extent. I feel a molester should be flogged in public and ostracized from civil society.
No, but it never goes wrong for the men.
This is where the dividing line comes.
It never goes wrong for the men. In fact, the men don't suffer at all. It always goes wrong for the women.
I'm saying if you're a rapist, I'm saying if you're a rapist, you should be castrated. What more can you do? That's not saying that spare the man. I'm saying castrate a man who rapes. I'm saying flog a man in public who molests a woman. What more can one say about not blaming the men? I'm saying that they are all to be blamed.
This is not
these
about
cases,
saying,
these are the women who No, I'm saying these women come from, maybe the educated women who come from middle-class families. They leave their husbands or they leave their normal lives and try and latch on to a powerful man. He could be a politician, he could be a entertainment czar, he could be a corporate czar.
Do they deserve to push to suicide? Do they deserve to be pushed to suicide? Let's take a short break at that point because we're running out of time on this segment. Let's take a short break and come back and talk about the attitude of society, the attitude of parents, the attitude of friends. Is that what pushes these women into helplessness and hopelessness because the stigma becomes so strong, a stigma that simply doesn't attach to men.
This is TV 18, and you are watching CNN IPN.
Fiza's death, Gitika's suicide, both women were associated with Haryana politicians. We're asking, are women victimized in relationships with politicians? Rohit, आप हमें ये बताइए, आप फिजा के फ्रेंड हैं, क्या फिजा पे धमकियां दी जाती थी? क्या वो डरती थी कि कभी भी उसके साथ कुछ भी हो सकता है?
जी, ऐसा हुआ था। उनको फ़ोन पे भी काफ़ी धमकियां पहले मिलती थी, फ़ोन पे अक्सर। लेकिन अभी रिसेंटली जो मेरे नॉलेज में आया है कि कोई सिक्योरिटी प्रोवाइड करने वाला है, जिसने पुलिस में बयान दिया है कि उसे फिज़ा का फ़ोन आया था कि उसे प्राइवेट सिक्योरिटी चाहिए और उसे किसी से धमकी मिली है या उसको जान का ख़तरा है। इस तरह की बात हुई है, उसको धमकियां भी मिलती थी। इसके लिए हमने ऑलरेडी पुलिस को लिख के भी दिया हुआ था, रिटन में हमने दिया था कि उसको प्रोटेक्शन दी जाए।
क्या फिजा आपसे क्या बोलती थी? क्या वो ये कहती थी कि नहीं, अब मुझे जिंदगी, यू नो, आई हैव टू लिव माय लाइफ, आई हैव टू कैरी ऑन माय लाइफ, आई हैव टू मूव ऑन, या क्या वो डिप्रेशन में डूबी हुई थी? क्या वो इस डिप्रेशन से निकल बाहर नहीं पा रही थी?
बिल्कुल नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। मैं जिन दिनों में अभी रिसेंटली मिला हूँ जब भी, तो कभी भी डिप्रेशन वाली बात तो आई ही नहीं है। और शुरू से ही वो हमेशा बोल्ड और डेयरिंग रही है, बहुत साहसी लड़की रही है। डिप्रेशन वाली बात मैं सोच भी नहीं सकता कि, या ना ही उसने कभी मेरे साथ इस तरह की कोई बात की है। और मेरे कल्पना से बाहर है कि वो लड़की कभी सुसाइडल या कोई डिप्रेशन वाली बात कर सकती है। बिकॉज
तो आप ये नहीं मानते हैं, तो आप मानते ही नहीं है कि फिजा ने सुसाइड किया? आपकी राय है कि इसमें कुछ फाउल प्ले है?
हाँ, बिल्कुल सुसाइड तो नहीं है। अब पोस्टमार्टम या मेडिकल रिपोर्ट आएगी, उसी से हमें पता लग सकता है कि उसकी नेचुरल डेथ है या अननेचुरल डेथ है।
Let me come to you, Renuka. The fact that the friend is saying this was possibly an unnatural death, he's making that presumption. But let me come to you. The power differential that exists between these politicians and these women. Does society and do families turn their back? Now, in the Gitika case, we saw that the family themselves were going along with Kanda's family. They visited Shirdi with Kanda's family. They went on trips with Kanda's family. Is that a case where the family also becomes enamored of the celebrity of the politician? And in the case of Fiza, we saw that the family seemed to have no relationship with Fiza. The family seems to have retreated. Her uncle came after 4 days to discover the body. So does the woman also snap ties with her family? Does she lose social support?
I think that's a very relevant point, that it's not the female alone who's negotiating in this trade-off. The family, friends, and you have a larger society that allows you a certain leeway to an extent. So they'll say, all right, if you're going into a reality show, dancing and certain movements, or there's sexual talk between the anchor and a lady on the floor, that's allowed. The father's clapping and cheering. But maybe they don't want that to go a further step. So
right.
It's not just I would feel it's not just a matter of extent. The moment you take the body as a point of negotiation, or that's where you are.
There are other stakeholders get involved. Is the hopelessness, Ranjana Kumari,
yes,
is the hopelessness due to the fact that families turn their back on you, or they jump onto the celebrity bandwagon that the politician represents, and you get cut off? You get cut off by society in a way that perhaps politicians never do, male politicians never do.
Have you heard of an expression called fallen men? These are fallen women. These are the women who eloped, who latched on to. Look at just the language. So language itself talks about domination and subordination. You latch on to someone who has the power, the money, and look at the way it is, described about women. She elopes with this. The man never elopes with the woman. The man doesn't exist. And it's so sad that we are all discussing and we are trying to explain the situation as women, trying to look at the whole thing. What about the aggressors? What about these men who do it? Do they ever come in front of camera in your studio, anywhere for that matter,
Right.
in any circumstances.
Is it a
have
case?
they ever got to explain their behavior? No. And that is what explains the unequal power relations in
It's the
society.
unequal power. Bharat
When the women
Dabholkar,
is-
I'm going to have to give you the last
Absolutely.
word. It's a terribly unequal power relationship. The men are getting away with it. They
It
will
is.
keep on getting away with it,
yes.
and the women will lose their lives. That's the
Yes.
tragedy. Whatever the barter,
Yes.
whatever the communication
I
is.
agree with that. I think it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace that men are allowed to get away from all this. It's a disgrace. But
Right.
I am saying if it is not exploitation because of need, then the women go into this with their eyes open because it's greed. It's the benefits that go with that power. When that stops, you suddenly realize that the currency that you're using is not valid anymore. And that's where the depression comes in.
Okay,
because
but
there are
I'm
millions
gonna
of
have
women
to-
who don't use that.
But I'm going to have to end.
They work hard. They
the
work
women
hard.
work hard, and they are perhaps targeted because of their greed. But I'm going to quote a tweet that came to me saying, "Our society will accept Chandra Mohan, but there will be no sympathy for Fiza." That is the reality of our terribly patriarchal, male-dominated, brutal society. In fact, where, as Renuka is saying, the only out strategy for a woman in this situation is either exit or submit. In this case, both women have perhaps been pushed or chosen exit. Thank you very much indeed, Rohit Mahajan, Professor Renuka Dagar, Bharat Dabholkar, Ranjana Kumari. Thanks very much indeed. Are women victimized in these kind of relationships with powerful politicians? 91 years. Thank you for watching.